Hi everybody, my name is Noah and welcome to this Stet studio vlog. Today I'm going to start prepping for the new year. It is actually New Year's Eve. I had hoped to start doing this sooner, but I'd been busy with markets up until the 14th, which you may have seen that video already, you may not have, but that vlog is available if you're interested. I've also been busy cleaning the rest of my house and prepping for New Year's and Christmas and the solstice and for all those things that happen this time of year. So I already filmed the introduction to this video once already, but I kind of wasn't sure exactly how I wanted to format it, what I wanted to be able to do, how I wanted to present it, but I think I have figured it out. This vlog is edited not in necessarily complete chronological order, but in three main sections or categories. So there will be cleaning, which, as you can see around me, everything's a mess. I need to deal with that. That's one of the biggest things. And then there will be tying up loose ends and planning for next year. So you will see, I think the cleaning is going to be the first part you'll see, and then tying up loose ends, and then planning for next year. So you will see, for example, probably me tying up loose ends, and there will still be a mess in the background, and I'll have already cleaned it up. So each section will be chronological within itself, but I'm separating them into three different topics. So that's how I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to get started. We have hopefully a New Year's gathering we're going to tonight. The weather's kind of iffy, so I don't know. But I have some time before then, so I'm going to get started. I know not everybody likes the whole New Year, New Me thing, and I don't entirely resonate with that, but I do enjoy having this time of year set aside for resetting because there's a lot of busyness going on. I like this quiet, especially from a business owner's perspective, January is very, very quiet. I like taking this time to reset. Okay, so I've officially reached the point in this process where I'm kind of feeling like, do I really need to thoroughly clean? Can't I just kind of get it to be good enough? And I could. Good enough is always an option, but that was not my goal for this cleaning. I wanted it to really feel fresh and clean and ready to do some stuff, and I think that that is important as evidenced by how today is going. I've had a bit of a migraine all day. Thankfully, I seem to have caught it early enough that I can still function. I've been kind of stuck. What day is it? It's January 5th, so it's like the first day, quote-unquote, back in the office after the holidays. Obviously, my office is, in my house, but yes, I am one of those people that saves the wrapping paper, if possible. Why wouldn't I? I'm having a hard time now that the holidays are over, fully being like, yeah, I'm ready for the new year. And this is actually, I think, the first time in my life I've ever felt this way. I just don't feel ready for them to be over, which is silly, but it's how I feel. Maybe it's not silly, I don't know. But I'm trying to get this wrapping paper at least somewhat organized. I have a box of, the whole rolls in the cat room, which we'll need to go back down in the basement. We haven't put away any of the decorations yet, but this has my name on it. I think I will probably just cut something out of this to keep, because I like taping wrapping paper into my journal as a memento, and this wrapping paper is the wrapping paper I usually use for my nibblings. So I don't ever receive presents in this wrapping paper usually, but I did this year, so I want to save some of these cute little guys, and maybe I'll just put the rest in with all of my other art journal supplies, because there's cookies and candies that could be fun to cut out if I want to do a Christmas wintry thing in the future. So we're going to keep this little guy with the cookie, and maybe this gal with the gumdrop, since she's close by. I do need to go eat lunch soon, though. I got this girl. I will probably eventually go through my drawers, but that will be maybe a February thing. I got enough going on right now. I'd like to reorganize the drawers I have and maybe get a better, filing cabinet.
Here and stuff tomorrow, and then film a bunch of them at the same time. To be taking in that area, it'd be really helpful for getting back on track more quickly, or not letting yourself dwell in that space of negativity and letting yourself.
Okay, so it is January 14th today, and things are honestly taking a lot longer than I hoped they would. I will say, I think the office is done. It is to a usable, realistic state. There are still a few things I'd like to clean up, a few boxes here and there, and bags of stuff, or a bag of stuff. I'm looking at it right now. But realistically, this is a usable state. I am comfortable with the space I have, the level of clutter, all of that. So rather than trying to make it perfect and like perfectly clean, perfectly organized, and of course that's going to fall to the side as soon as I start working, a little bit at least. Rather than trying to do that and take more time with that and stress myself out, I'm going to move to the cat room. That will probably be a tomorrow thing because I have to go to work soon for my second job. It's a huge mess. Every time I go in there, I stub my toe on something or trip on something. I would also like to eventually get a bed to put in there because it is the place where guests would sleep and there's nothing in there right now other than my stuff. And if I could get everything put away and organized, there'd be room for like a day bed, which I would really like to have. This is the cat room. It used to have like the litter boxes in it. It has, I don't know if you can see it, but it has like a recording studio over there, and I did a whole video on setting that up. So like this is our spare bedroom and it's kind of a mess and I need to organize it. And I've been putting it off because I'm super intimidated by the size of this room and the amount of mess that's in here. But I would really like to have this room back in like usable order. There's a lot of my stuff for my business in here. There's some stuff in here for my personal stuff, like I quilt. This is batting for my quilts. Not business related, but for the most part, this is all business stuff. Not all of it, but I'd say like a good at least 80% of it. I need to get this room organized and it's stressing me out. And I know I'm not going to finish this today. I only have like 3 hours until I need to leave for my other job and I have to eat lunch first, so I'm not going to get very far, but I need to just get started. We are more than 2 weeks into 2026 now, so I should get going. So I think I'm going to put this into time-lapse mode and we'll see what we can get done before lunch. Oh, it didn't start recording. I'm sorry, you're going to hear whatever the normal audio is, but anyways, I'm going to get started without the cord that's going to get me caught on everything. I find that sharing things like this can be really challenging for me. I have a lot of internalized shame about spaces being messy, but I wanted to be honest and real with y'all. So this dresser here was, I think, in my brother's bedroom or something. You use it now as a storage space. We've got all of my like etc. minis in here, and just stuff that doesn't have a display shelf yet, stuff for the Moomin house. Then this is always banging into the doorknob, but that's okay. This is things like bubble mailers, stamps, envelopes, and I think I have some stuff I need to put in here. And we've got stamps, we've got envelopes, and then there's also where all the bubble mailers and like rigid mailers that I use for my personal stuff go. So like Christmas presents came in this. Gonna reuse it. There's some mailing labels that need to go in there. Thread up return things that I'm not going to use as return things. I'm not going to sell things to thread up, so they can just be used for stuff. And then down here we have boxes. So if I have any boxes, or I guess rigid mailers go down here too, apparently. Anything, no, I'm going to keep the rigid mailers up here, so that means this guy needs to go up here. So any boxes, there's a lot of like Archer and Olive boxes, boxes from other businesses that I ordered from, small boxes go down here. This is picture frames. Did Cassie leave? I think she might have left. No, she's still there. If I didn't remember to include the video I took of her, she is in the little hut behind the tripod. I managed to get it in here without her freaking out. She does not like the tripod, and I don't blame her. I don't think she wants me to clean the cat around today. Do you, baby girl? It also doesn't want to focus on her because it doesn't know she's there. Cassie left, unfortunately. Me moving the tripod to rearrange it was just a little bit too much for her. Fabric. More fabric. Templates for the intersex and polyamorous flags. This drawer is a mess. All right, we're gonna start by putting all this stuff away. And I do have this drawer sorted in rainbow order. It goes pink, red, etc., all the way down to light gray and then black. When it's fully stocked, it's a little bit easier to keep track of everything. But it does tend to get out of order and messed up pretty quickly. I'm gonna put all these little strips together, I think. Ooh, this I can't wait to make into like a yeehaw lesbian bandana, because I have a pink one too. I say yeehaw lesbian bandana, but like a little bit of chapel room, you know. So I'm almost done with resetting for the year, I guess. I don't know. At this point, it just kind of feels like I need to be done or I'm going to be picking at things forever. And I do also want to get the video uploaded, not too much later, because I want to record and vlog the early comic day like I always do. And yeah, I don't want this video to go on for too long and not be interesting anymore. You want some that are plainer and some that are more interesting so you can create a balance. And then some of them are just overly chaotic because some people love chaos, and I want to have all sorts of styles for all different tastes. Try to fold things neatly, but sometimes when they get to the point where they're littler pieces, it's harder to fold everything to uniform sizes, so I just do my best. Sometimes it's kind of hard to decide what color something should be if it's like a white background with, say, pink flowers, but you know, how pink does it need to be before it's pink? But like there's some wiggle room, and I think a lot of that depends for the pride flags on what fabrics it's around. If you have it against something that's hot pink, it's going to seem more like a white fabric, but if you have it against a mostly white fabric, it's going to seem more pink. Or it might seem more orange if it's against a really pink fabric, so it does have some orange in it. But I kind of enjoy these challenges. It's very different from the rest of my work with like watercolors and stuff. Like obviously I work with colors and stuff there, but like working with fabric is different and I really enjoy it. I do have some strips here that could be just used for stripes as they are, like size-wise. So that's why that pile is separate. Because sometimes I cut out a stripe I don't need, or I cut it the wrong size, but it could work for a different flag. So basically I just put those to the side and I put them in a pile up here in the front. And then I look through them and decide if there's anything in there that will work for whatever I'm doing, rather than having to cut stuff out again. It's interesting to see which colors are harder to find secondhand, which ones I go through quicker, which ones I don't need as much of, that sort of thing. And I feel like it's kind of flexible. You know, I might go through a spell of not being able to find any red, and then there's a ton of red fabric that I find secondhand. So I try and, you know, do all this secondhand, which I've talked about before. And sometimes purple's really hard to find, but I've got a decent amount of purple right now. And then for things like the templates, like the circle and the pi sign, I will do iron-on backing, like interfacing, and then iron that onto the rest of the flag is how I do those. White is a color I feel like I run out of a lot of, and I think in part that's because it's used in a lot of different flags, but also it is a color that, like, even if you have, like, oh, I'm making this thing and I have white fabric left over, it's a lot easier to reuse white fabric than it is maybe something with a print on it or something else. I seem to have a hard time keeping enough white fabric in stock, but I have some right now, which is nice. But yeah, I am making progress. There's definitely kind of a path through where you can see where I've cleaned, but this room still needs a lot of work. Okay, so I feel like I've gotten my office to a point where it's done. It's done being cleaned. Like, there are some things here and there that could probably be done more, but this is realistic for what my life looks like and what my, you know, me living and working in this place. It's not a showroom, you know, so it's realistic for that. And I'm going to turn you around so you can see. So we've got the sewing tools area over there, looks pretty much the same. Still got lots of stuff here. The Christmas tree needs to go downstairs. And we've got other, things that need mended, just kind of in a pile, but it's more organized than it was, and I understand what's going on, so that's great. We've got my bookshelf, which looks pretty much the same, that's fine. Desk is cleaned off, that's the biggest thing. This being cleaned off is so much better, along with this here. Got some things stacked underneath. We've got a bag for recycling instead of putting the box under there. I like that better. Yeah, I reuse old, clean litter bags for recycling, particularly paper. Yeah, everything is organized, at least somewhat. I'm more or less happy with this. Now I need to go finish the cat room. Okay, so here we are entering the cat room. We have some boxes of stuff that either need to go in the basement or downstairs, or that bottom chewy one needs to go in my office. And we've got so much space in here now, and I do need to like mop the floor. I found a couple spots that are a little bit grody that need mopped, but I will do that later. We've got sticker area and just market supplies, Mostly clean desk, recording studio. Like, it's not perfect, obviously, but it's functional now. There's space in here. I can think. I can breathe. Now it's time to move on to the last few loose ends. Looking at you, community project over there in the mailbox that I need to be filling out. I think I will start with tying up loose ends, even though I'd really much rather just get into cleaning because there are just a few things I need to do. I need to finish the vlog I mentioned about the holiday markets. It's uploaded, it's edited, it's uploaded. I just need to create all the little bits and pieces for it. And then I also need to write my, I need to write my newsletter for December. Well, I need to write my newsletter that'll go out on January 1st. And there are a few other things, like I need to finish getting my finances in order for the new year. Yeah, obviously not all of this is going to happen today. It's going to go through, you know, the next couple days into the new year, but that's fine. I just wanted to share this process with you. I will say I have been heavily inspired by Jashi Koren and her vlogs that she does about her organization, her daily life, and how she works towards meeting her goals. So I'm kind of channeling those vibes, so to speak. And yeah, I think that's everything you need to know off the bat. So let's get started. Why are you so slow?
It's a camera. You got toast and egg. I got toast and egg. He's just kind of chilling out. Yeah, I can hear him kind of chatting. But yeah,
I think you can see my face. I hope so. We're gonna pretend you can if you can't. Alright, so one of the things I need to do for this year is I need to cancel my Plan subscription. That's PLANN. It's a social media scheduler. I've used it for, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 years now. It's $84 a year, which is expensive. Also, I prefer Buffer now. I've started using Buffer. Interesting. This says it's $150 per year. They must have increased it. It used to be $82, $84. Manage your subscription. Okay, but I want to cancel my subscription. Well, password, new password. I don't need to do that. Unpublish. Cancel paid subscription. There it is. Gosh, why is it so hard to find? Anyways, I'm canceling my Plan subscription because, oh, it's legacy pricing. So I would have still gotten the 80-some dollars, but I want to use Buffer instead. It's a social media planning tool, just like Plan is, and I like it because you can use it for Blue Sky, which is another platform I use. And that one's cheaper, I believe. Let's see here. More than one Instagram account on here, which is nice. Let's see here. Settings. Nope, I want to go back to plans and pricing. I have until January 16th. All right, let's see what paying yearly is. It's $180 a year, which is $30 more than... Okay, so if I had one channel, instead of 3, because I have 3 right now, it'd be $60, which is way cheaper. It's interesting that it goes up the same amount. Like the second channel costs as much as the first, and the third costs as much as the, you know, rather than it being like you get a discount on your additional channels. I would expect that maybe. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is, honestly, I will just keep using the free plan rather than, or the free buffer rather than paying for plan. Yes, I will lose my legacy pricing. Send feedback. No Blue Sky integration. Too many AI features that I don't want to pay for, nor will I can't type today. Use. Alright, that's it. I won't have to pay for plan anymore, and I'll just stick with the free versions of Buffer, which is fine. I've been using that, and it's been fine. The only thing about it is that I wish that you could have more than 10 queued posts per channel, but it's fine. I'll live with that. That's one less expense for my business this year. So we canceled the plan, and we switched to Buffer fully. I'm going to need to go through and make sure that my Instagram is all still set up right, because I think it was still set up to use the plan, like, easy link type thing. I also want to go through my YouTube channel and get rid of any old videos that I don't want shared anymore. So yeah, that's that. And I think now what I'm going to work on is I'm going to turn this Jashicorn video back on. I'm going to open Proton. I'm going to start, because I only have about 25 minutes until I need to get ready and go to work. My other job. Obviously, I'm already at work. I need to get my newsletter for January started. And I can do that. And then maybe I'll finish that tonight after my other job. We'll see. Today's Friday. I keep thinking today's Monday. Just remembered I need to put in for time off. Alright, I'm going to get to work on this. I do need to open Google Drive, though, to get my thing from it. I think I'm also going to stop using QuickBooks. I don't like the way it works, and I don't like the AI features that they've integrated. I am not a fan of AI to begin with, but it keeps incorrectly doing things, which is really frustrating. It's really frustrating, and I think it'd be better if I stopped using it. And I've started using Proton because it's encrypted end-to-end, and it doesn't read your stuff the way Google does, which you can get rid of. You can get rid of its ability to read your stuff and feed it to their AI, which I can leave a link for if you want, I guess. I did that earlier this year. And I need to go through and do that on Instagram too. DAI Instagram. So let me show you real quick my template for how I write my newsletter. I didn't always use one of these templates for my newsletters, but I started this back in the summer, August probably. And I find it really helpful. We've got the, what month it is, and then we have intro text, talk about the season, something in personal life, etc. So that's oh, I did this craft project, or, I went on this really cool trip with my friend. Here's a picture of something we saw there. Something personal just to get into, break the ice and get things started, and then update something that was mentioned last time that has changed or concluded that does not fall under new products or what I have been doing. So that's kind of the catch-all for anything else that I haven't mentioned. We got new products, which is pretty self-explanatory. We have products that are ready to be purchased when the newsletter is read. What have I been doing? Markets, wholesale, YouTube videos, social media events / initiatives. So that's just, like I said before, pretty self-explanatory. We've got projects in the works, things that I'm actively working on, a community project if there is one, my tarot deck that I'm working on, blog posts, and then goals for this coming month. So it would be goals for January this time. And I say list at least 3, but no more than 5. I may do, since this is the beginning of a new year, I may include, since this is the beginning of a new year, yearly goals as well, I think. That'll be something to talk about. But yeah, so that's how I do my newsletters. I like this. I think it's made it a lot easier to write them. I used to do one that was art-based and one that was writing-based, since those are the two halves of my business. But it got to be unfeasible, and I felt like I wasn't really providing much value from them, because I was just picking a random topic every month and then writing about it, which was fine, but it's not really what people look for in a newsletter. If they're going to take the time to sign up, they want, value from it. They want to be able to learn things from it about the business and not have their time wasted. So yeah, that's the goal. And obviously, if you want to sign up for my mailing list, the link is down below in the description. I send out newsletters once a month. I may occasionally send a bonus one, but not usually. And you get a discount to my shop if you sign up, as well as some free bookmarks that you can print. So today I'm finally starting something that I have been putting off since before the new year. It's the 9th today, so I've been putting it off for a while. I need to get my year-end finances all sorted, so I know how much I owe in terms of sales tax and what my profit or lack thereof was for 2025. I'm very lucky. I have a family member who does my taxes for me and helps keep me on top of all that stuff. And she's been like, "Hey, I kind of need this. I'm going to be on vacation. I'll be back." I think it was the 7th, the 8th that she got home. So don't really have any sort of excuse to not be done with it, but I just don't want to do it. It's not something I particularly enjoy in general, but I have another reason for not wanting to do it this time. It's because QuickBooks, the site I use, is acting weird. I don't know if it's because of AI integrations or it's just the way QuickBooks is. It's always been kind of confusing and not great, but it started listing all of my expenses and stuff as... it sent me a confirmation text as invoices, and I've never used invoices on QuickBooks. If I do invoices, which I rarely do, but if I do, they're through my website. So I don't know why they're listing them as invoices, and I don't want to fix everything, so I'm going to have to do it manually. I'm going to have to re-enter everything manually. I was looking at it back in November. I'm not looking forward to this, but I need to do it, so I'll do it, and we'll go from there. He says here I have over $100 worth of overdue invoices that should be paid. They're not invoices. Some of them are expenses, things that I bought, and some of them are money that came in from my markets. So I gotta find the receipts. And of course they changed the whole interface, which is confusing too, but I could live with that. I guess I'll start with getting all of the expenses properly categorized, because it doesn't look like there's that many of those, and then I'll switch over to fixing the invoices that aren't actually invoices. And I don't think I'm going to use QuickBooks next year. In 2026. I did pay for January already because I didn't finish this, but it feels like there's no point. It's confusing. It's labeling things wrong. It's making things harder to understand. And why would I pay money for that? All right, I'm gonna get to work. Is this recurring? Yeah, you'd think that it would be able to correctly categorize the payment for QuickBooks, but it can't. One of the miscellaneous tasks I have today is to block this sweater I recently finished. So I'm gonna have to fill this tub with some water here. I usually have some eucalyptus or even woolite for the sweater to kind of wash it, but I don't have any of that, so we're just gonna let it sit in the water so the stitches even out a bit and it can do any growing it needs to do, and then I'll lay it out flat to dry. And then I'm thinking I might need to take the sleeves in a bit. I think they might be a bit too long. The body I'm hoping will grow because it's an okay length right now, but it could stand to be like an inch or two longer. So I'm gonna fill up this plastic tub I have inside my other tub. Anyways, I'm gonna fill that up. I use this so it's less water than trying to fill up the actual bathtub. And after I put this in here, I think I'm gonna go downstairs and get myself a cup of tea, make myself a cup of tea with some honey and lemon because my throat kind of hurts. And I would like some more coffee, but I'm having a kind of high anxiety day. My stomach's kind of upset, so I feel like putting more coffee in it is probably not the best idea. If you're not familiar, in 2024 I did a community project where we covered up all sorts of hate comments I had received with Posca pens and made this great collaborative art piece. And then this year I did a project where you could write down what you love about being trans and or queer. And the goal is for everybody to make a zine together. And I've been writing these down throughout the year, recording them. I think it was a Word document rather than a Drive document. So now that 2025 is over, we are going to go into whichever folder has this stuff in it. I think it might be this one. It makes sense if it was. Well, I'll find it. And I'm going to type up these last ones, as well as I think I have some papers around here somewhere that are a list of people who've signed up for my mailing list, and I'd like to get them onto the mailing list before I send out the next one. They should have been on it for January, but it just hasn't happened yet. So hopefully that will get done this evening, and then I can be done and edit this vlog. Here it is. So this is what happens when you don't keep track of how you organize. That's another thing I need to do, is organizing this. That could be getting ready for the new year thing, but I don't think it's going to happen right now. It's just going to go on my list of things I want to do in the future. I decided at the beginning of the year that I was going to do a figure drawing sketch a day. It could be really quick for 5 minutes like this one was, where I could take all the time I wanted. It could be from real life. It could just be from a person I saw out and about. But Regardless, I wanted to do this because I realized on New Year's Eve when I was trying to draw Saeed from Lost that I'm really rusty at figure drawing, and my tarot deck requires a lot of drawing of figures. So this just seemed like a good way to get myself back into it. I used to go to regular figure drawing sessions, but haven't in a long time. I really like how this one turned out. I think it looks really good. I love the shape of the clothing that the model is wearing.
ASMR with paper. Is one. What is this just like? You're just excited about. You want more of in your life versus unheart, or what I'm going to do is unsmiley face. Unsmiley face. Okay? So what are the positives? What are the stuff that's like lighting you up? The stuff that you're excited to get into?
For the past couple years, I've really used Jashi Koren's videos about goal setting and planning for the year ahead and reflecting on the past year, all of those sort of things around the end of one year, the beginning of the other. And I really felt like it was helpful in the past couple years, so I wanted to continue doing it this year. This was a VOD of a live stream that she had done a few weeks prior at this point, just to help me figure out what was important in my life and what I wanted to be working on. And after that, I decided that I was going to set up my bullet journal because it was just at the point where it was really frustrating to be continually feeling like I was juggling things that I didn't need to be juggling. And I am kind of nervous about this taking too much time and not following through with it. But I figured rather than buying something new, I would take what I already have and work from that, and that worked really well. This is a bullet journal that I used last year. I'm trying to set things up a little bit differently to make them work for where my life is now. And yeah, I tried a Calendex for the first time. I think it was a little confusing to set up, but now that it's set up, I really like it so far. And if you've noticed, my pinky is sometimes, the one on my left hand is sometimes blurred out, and that is because it is the one that I hurt in my last vlog, so I didn't want you to see that looking a little gnarly. It is getting a lot better now, though. It's much better. You saw me a little bit setting up my bullet journal. I am just reusing the one that I started in 2024 because I only made it about halfway through. I made it this far through, and I think the last month I have in here, I have several weeks that weren't filled in. I have partway through April in here, and that was after I started my job in March, I think. And it was very much like I didn't really have time anymore. I was too busy, I was doing stuff, it just wasn't working out. So I switched to an undated pre-printed planner from Mossery that I'd had from a couple years ago, and I really liked that when I used that until I was completely out of calendars in there. So that was really enjoyable. I am attempting to do some bullet journaling again this year because I miss it, and I feel like something like this that's a little more create as you go, like create for yourself, choose your own adventure, will allow me to put in lots of like goal tracking spreads and planning spreads and stuff. So far I just have my month at a glance feature log type thing. I used a Calendex for the first time, which I'd never done before, but I really like how it turned out. I've got the first 6 months for that set up. You can see I've got the second 6 months not at all set up yet, other than they're in here, just to kind of mark the page, because I don't have anything written down for July through December yet of 2026. Then I have my January calendar, which is pretty full, which is the main reason why I wanted to do this now. I was so determined to get it done, even though I felt like there was other stuff I needed to do first. I was like, I need to get my bullet journal set up. I can't wait any longer. I feel like I can't keep track of anything because I don't have a calendar. And I know I could have put things in like a digital calendar or printed a calendar out, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to set up my bullet journal. So I did that, and then I have my first week, I'm not going to show it to you because it's got some, personal stuff in it, but it's got 4 categories. It's got rolling weekly, sort of like Alistair method list for Stet Studio, the same sort of thing for my second job, and then a category for personal stuff. And then the 4th quarter of it is a spot for reflection, something I kind of forgot about when I was setting my bullet journal up, that I used to do weekly, monthly, quarterly reflections. And I found them really helpful, so I made sure to put in a space for that. And then this weekend I'll set up the next week and so on and so forth. I went through and took some time today to go through one of the emails I get that has they collate, or not collate, they curate a list of publications, like submit places that are open for submission during that month. And since I waited until halfway through the month, a bunch of them were already closed, which is a shame because I looked at it at the beginning of the month but never had a chance to do anything with it. So I came back and half, if not more, of the ones I was interested in were already closed. But I did find a few. I'm working through a story I wrote probably back in like 2021 or 2022. I'm still using a different last name than the one I use now. So I'm working on that, and then there are a couple others that I'll probably submit to, but that's not really here nor there. And I finished the QuickBooks thing. That's the big thing. I was working on getting all of that fixed. I ended up printing out my entire like transaction history from my bank for 2025, and then printing out all of the expenses from QuickBooks and all of the income, like not notifications, but like all the sales receipts, I guess you'd call them, from QuickBooks, and then cross-referencing both of the lists from QuickBooks with my bank. And you could tell where it had stopped importing everything correctly, because towards the end of the year there was a whole bunch of, and I worked backwards through it, starting December 31st and working towards January 1st. That was just what worked with how things were formatted. You could tell there was a lot of stuff that was missing, and then you hit like July and pretty much everything was there. And I realized that I got all the way through the expenses, figured all that out, marked down which ones were gone and which ones I needed to add in, and then I started working on the income and realized I only had through like mid-June printed out, so I came back upstairs to print out the rest of them. And the weirdest thing happened. I don't know what I was doing, but when I was trying to pull up the income sales receipts to print, all of the automated stuff showed up. I don't know if I changed a setting or it refreshed in a different way or something, because I tried refreshing it and doing different things to get it to work. Obviously, I didn't just immediately see, oh, it didn't work, I'm done. I had troubleshooted? I don't know. But I was able to go through all of the automatic imports and confirm that they were categorized correctly and get all that done. And then I just went through kind of, not quickly, but I went through and made sure there weren't any double ups. And as far as I could tell, there was no double ups from what I had already put in there manually, which is great. So that took me so much less time than I thought it would. I thought it was going to take me all of last night, and it didn't. It took me until like 9:30, granted, but I did stop and eat supper and watch an episode of Lost with my girlfriend. So like, I thought that I wouldn't have time to watch anything, that I'd have to work through supper. But that was a nice surprise. I told my girlfriend, I said, I don't know whether to be annoyed or relieved, but I think I'm going to go with both. Because, like, yes, it was nice to not have to manually re-enter everything, but at the same time, I'm still annoyed that that it was so hard to get it to work correctly. And I'm not sure about replacing it. I'm still looking into it, but I haven't found any software that does the things that I need it to do. Like, there's certain softwares that I've looked at. I think there's one called Wave that I looked at that like does almost everything I need, but it doesn't do something. I forget what it was, but there was at least one thing that it didn't do that I wanted it to do. So like, I've been looking at options, but I honestly haven't found anything yet, so I may just have to stick with QuickBooks, which is really frustrating. I thought about doing it manually, like either in a spreadsheet or in a paper book, because you can still buy like books for bookkeeping, you know. I was hoping to do an I Made It market in February, but it's on the week that I'm going to be away, so I'm not going to do that. I did that last year on the 1st of February on Hourly Comic Day, which I will link to that vlog. So I was hoping that that would be the next thing, but it's not. I will probably still vlog Hourly Comic Day because I enjoy vlogging it while I'm trying to do Hourly Comic Day, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think that's really all I needed to check in about right now. I have to go to work soon. I put off filming this for as long as I could, hoping the sun would come out a bit more, but it's just going to be a dreary day, so this is the best we got, unless I wanted to dig out my camera lights, which I did not want to do. I decided that since I didn't get as much of the process of setting this bullet journal up again for 2026 filmed as I had wanted to, I would share my like weekly reset type process a little bit with y'all, since we're going into the second week of using this bullet journal. So yeah, let's get that started. We're going to open up to last week, and this week will go right next to it. It's not a very intense setup. I do need to go through and cross things off that I finished and write my reflection, and then I'll start next week.
I just feel like it's not. Oh well. Just you Now Snap's over here again. You know what's a lot easier than this? Apple pie. I should have just made an apple pie again. I guess you gotta peel and cut them, which is worse. So maybe I just lied, I don't know. I don't know. Reality of it. He's still putting on the end of this one, but it's okay. What the heck? That would also work. Why did they work before? I'm doing it needs to. Okay, maybe if I was able to stick. Okay, let's get the cornstarch in here. I need to do 5 tablespoons of cornstarch and stir it a little bit at a time. Let me just move this out of the way temporarily. Tablespoon of cornstarch. Gross. And then another one. I know you can't see, I'm sorry. 2 tablespoons. Stir that all in. The cherries back in here as opposed to putting this on the cherries in the bowl. Oh no! Uh-oh. Another time we did it. I'm kidding.
So we're pretty much at the end of January. I think it's January 27th today, if I'm remembering correctly. And we've come to the conclusion of this rather long vlog. I just finished editing it a few minutes ago. I'd love to be wearing my nice cozy sweater, which actually fits pretty great. The sleeves are a little long and the body is like, you know, about an inch shorter than I wish it would be, but both of those things I think are fine enough that I'm not gonna bother dealing with it, especially the body. Maybe eventually the sleeves I'll mess with, but it is really hot in my office where I just came from. Our house is very unevenly heated. It's very cold on the first floor, and the second floor is really pretty warm, and then the third floor is sweltering. We have to keep the heat up a certain amount to keep the first floor livable, but it's really hot up here, so even though it's like, it is currently 17, that's pretty warm. Feels like 1, and that's in Fahrenheit, of course. So yeah, it's cold outside, but it's warm in here, particularly in my office. It's not super warm in this room, but my desk is sat with a radiator directly where like my feet go, so I get hot in there. This vlog was not what I expected it to be really at all. I got kind of a late start to begin with. I had wanted to start before New Year's Eve, but that was when I started, which was fine. And it took me a lot longer to get everything done. The cat room still isn't perfect, but you saw the sort of, you know, walk through of it, the after shot. There isn't really room to put any sort of like day bed or fold out bed in here yet. I want to put it in the corner where all of the boxes with stuff from my mom and other stuff that I need to sort through, need to be gotten rid of, where all that stuff is right now. But it's clean in here. It's organized enough that I can do stuff in here at least. So that's great. I got most of the really important stuff done that I needed to get set up for the year, like the loose ends I needed to tie up. I got the financial stuff done. That was really important. And I don't remember what else I did. That was the main thing. And I got my financial planning of how I'm going to like bookkeep, record keep for next year set up already and running. And by next year, I mean this year, 2026. So that's good. Now that we're almost a month into it, it's good that I have a plan in place. I did end up buying one of those books to use. I might make a vlog about it. We'll see. You'll have to let me know if you think that would be interesting at all. A vlog about bookkeeping. And then I think the biggest thing that I was kind of disappointed with was how the planning for next year, meaning 2026, this year, the planning for the year ahead went. I really expected to do a lot of goal planning and like really granular goal setting and like the steps I was going to take, but I think just with the amount of work that I have to do for my business in general, paired with the amount of work that I do for my other job, like the amount of time I'm out of the house, the energy that takes, I think the really granular goal setting that I've done in the past just isn't really feasible this year, or maybe isn't the best use of my time. I do know that I want to work on my tarot deck. and I know that I would like to at least finish the sketches by the end of this year. Initially I was like, oh, I'll finish the sketches by the end of like the first half of the year or something. I was making lists and stuff like that, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. So I'm just, working hard on the sketches. I have done probably about 20 now. I did 3 this month. I did the Empress, the High Priestess, and I'm almost done with the Emperor. I just need to like finish the last few little tweaks. And then the next one that I'm going to do, because I've done a few already, like I've already done the Fool, I've already done the Hierophant, I've already done the Chariot, I've already done other ones in the Major Arcana, so I'm now going from the beginning of the Major Arcana through filling in the ones I haven't already done. So the next one I'm going to be working on is the Lovers, and I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to be doing for that. But I have a little bit of time because I need to finish the background of the sketch for the Emperor, and yeah, that, it's moving, it's working. I know I want to work on wholesale again this year. That's something I've been trying to do for the past 2 or so years. And I have a line sheet, I have a catalog, I have all this stuff set up to where I'm pretty proud of. I need to be more aggressive with putting it out there and contacting people and making the contacts. That's something I really struggle with. I do need to update my line sheet at this point. It's missing some of the more recent cards and stickers I've made. It's kind of hard when the economy is the way it is to really want to focus on wholesale, because I just feel like no small business is going to want to take a chance on a new product supplier. But, that'll definitely be the case if I don't put anything out there. I got to give people the chance to say no if they're going to have the chance to say yes. And of course, the world is on fire. I don't probably need to tell you all the sort of stuff that's going on in the US right now. That has made things challenging. It can feel really hard to make art and do things like this when people's lives are being ended. But the way I look at it is I make the things that make people smile and make people happy for a few minutes so that they can go back out there and make the change that they need to make. But yeah, I feel like my job is mostly just to, make people forget for a few minutes what's going on so that they have the strength to keep making good change and making a difference. I don't really know what else to say. I don't know if I have any other goals for this year, other than I would really like to get a guest bed in this secondary office area. I don't even know if I have any goals for myself for this year personally. It's been such a weird start to a year, both personally and business-wise, and nationally, I guess. Things are not normal, and that makes New Year's resolutions hard to make, I guess. But yeah, thank you so much for coming along with me on this very long vlog. I'm glad that I did it, even if it didn't turn out quite the way I wanted it to. I feel like I got a lot accomplished, and I am now ready to finally start in on 2026. Leave me a comment down below if you'd like to tell me some of the things you're working on this year. Maybe you're working on a book. Are you a writer like me? Maybe you're learning a new hobby, something fun. Maybe you're just trying to get through every day. Whatever it is that you're doing this year, I'd love to hear about it. Something that maybe you're excited about. That would be awesome. Do you have any tips for goal setting or for following through on the goals once they're set? I'd love to hear about that. You can like this video if you liked it. If you don't like it, why are you still here? Go hug a loved one. I think there's a hype button now. I've heard rumors of a hype button. Click that, subscribe, ring the bell, all that silliness. And yeah, I really hope that day, morning, evening, whatever it is, I hope that it is excellent. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!